Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, I want to ask you something honestly. How many times have you started learning English and then stopped? Not because you are lazy, not because you don't care, but because it felt too heavy, too confusing, too slow. Now imagine this. What if improving your English didn't require pressure, didn't require long study hours, and didn't require perfect grammar? What if one simple daily habit, just 30 minutes, could slowly change everything? Today, I am not going to give you a complicated method. I am not going to ask you to memorize rules or follow a strict routine. I am going to show you something simple, something quiet, but something powerful. A habit that works even when you don't feel it working. A habit that builds your English naturally day by day, and that habit is reading. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will not only understand why reading works, but you will also feel motivated to actually start. Even if you are a beginner, even if you feel shy, even if you think your English is weak, let me tell you something important. Most learners don't fail because English is difficult. They fail because they try to do too much, too fast, in the wrong way. They open grammar books, they watch complicated lessons, they try to remember everything at once, and after some time their mind gets tired, they lose interest, they stop. But learning a language is not about pressure. It is about exposure. It is about spending time with the language in a simple and consistent way. This is where reading becomes powerful. When you read, something very special happens. You are learning, but it doesn't feel like studying. There is no teacher watching you. No one is correcting your mistakes. No one is judging your speed. It is just you and the language. You can go slowly, you can repeat, you can pause, you can enjoy, and this comfort matters more than you think. Because when you feel relaxed, your brain learns better. When you are not afraid, your mind becomes open. This is why many learners who struggle with grammar or speaking suddenly improve when they start reading regularly. Now you might be thinking, can reading really improve speaking? Can it really help me use English confidently? The answer is yes, but not in the way you expect. Reading prepares your brain before you speak. Every sentence you read becomes a silent example inside your mind. Every paragraph shows you how English works. You start noticing patterns without trying. You begin to understand how words connect. And slowly, without realizing it, your brain starts thinking in English. At first, it feels slow. You see words, you stop, you think. Sometimes you don't understand everything. This is normal. In fact, this is part of the process. You don't need to understand every word. This is one of the biggest mistakes learners make. They think if they don't understand everything, they are not learning. But real learning doesn't work like that. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is progress. If you understand most of what you read, you are already doing well. Your brain will take care of the rest over time. Let me explain something interesting. When you read daily, your brain starts recognizing words faster. At the beginning, every word feels new. But after a few days, you start seeing the same words again, then again, then again. And without trying, you remember them. This is natural learning. You are not forcing your brain, you are feeding it, and your brain is doing the work quietly. The same thing happens with grammar. Instead of memorizing rules, you start seeing correct sentences again and again. Your brain begins to understand what sounds right. You may not know the rule, but you feel the correctness. And this feeling is more powerful than memorization. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence does not come from knowing everything. It comes from small wins. When you read one page and understand it, that is a win. When you finish a short story, that is a win. When a sentence feels easy today but was difficult last week, that is a win. These small moments slowly change how you see yourself. You stop saying, my English is bad. You start saying, I am improving, and this changes everything. Because once you believe you are improving, you continue, and consistency is the real secret. This is why 30 minutes matters. Not 5 minutes, not 3 hours once a week, but 30 minutes every day. It is short enough to fit into your life, and long enough for your brain to focus deeply. You can read in the morning, you can read before sleeping, you can read during a break. The time doesn't matter. What matters is repetition. When you read daily, English becomes part of your life, not a subject, not a task, but a habit, and habits are powerful because they don't depend on motivation. Some days you will feel excited. Some days you will feel tired. But if you have a habit, you continue anyway. Now let me guide you on something very important. What you read matters. If you choose something too difficult, you will feel frustrated. You will stop too often. You will lose interest. If you choose something too easy, you may feel bored. The best choice is something simple and interesting. A short story, a basic article, a graded reader, something you enjoy, something that makes you curious. Because Curiosity keeps you going. When you want to know what happens next, you don't feel like you are studying, you feel like you are exploring, and that is the best way to learn. Also, don't try to collect every new word. This is another mistake. You don't need a long vocabulary notebook. You don't need to stop for every unknown word. Look at the word, understand the meaning, and continue. If the word is important, you will see it again and again and again, and that is how your brain remembers it naturally. Let me tell you something honest. At the beginning, you may feel slow. You may read one page in 10 minutes. That is okay. Slow reading is not a weakness. It is a sign that your brain is working. Speed comes later. Right now, your job is not to be fast. Your job is to be consistent. Because consistency builds familiarity, and familiarity builds confidence. Now, here is something that might surprise you. Reading also improves your listening. When you read a lot, your brain becomes familiar with sentence structures. Later, when you hear English, those structures feel familiar. You understand faster, and yes, reading helps speaking too. Because when you read, you are storing language. You are collecting natural sentences. Later, when you speak, these sentences come to your mind. You don't need to build everything from zero. You don't need to translate. You just express, and that is what fluency really is. Not speaking fast, but speaking smoothly. Now let's talk about building this habit. Do not wait for the perfect day. Do not wait for motivation. Start simple. Choose something easy. Sit comfortably. Set a timer for 30 minutes and read. That's it. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel hard, but both are part of the journey. If 30 minutes feels too long at the beginning, split it. Read 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night, but do it daily. Make it part of your routine. Keep your book or text close to you. Make it easy to start, because the easier it is to start, the more likely you are to continue. And slowly, something beautiful will happen. Reading will stop feeling like a task. It will become a habit, then a comfort, then a part of your identity. You will become someone who reads in English every day. And once that happens, improvement is not a question anymore. It is a result. So now I want to ask you again, will you give just 30 minutes a day to your English? Not for perfection, not for pressure, but for progress. If your answer is yes, then don't wait. Start today. Pick something simple. Sit down and read. Trust the process, even if you don't see immediate results, because the real change is happening inside you, quietly, deeply, and consistently. And one day you will notice it. You will read faster. You will understand more. You will speak more confidently. And you will realize that this small habit changed everything. If this message helped you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I create simple and practical English learning content to help you grow step by step, and I want you to do one more thing. Go to the comments and write, I will read 30 minutes every day. Make that promise to yourself, because this is not just about English. This is about building a habit that can change your future. I will see you in the next video. Keep learning, keep growing, and make English a natural part of your life.